Is zero tolerance good immigration policy?
I think it is, yeah. Keep in mind that there's been a couple of stories back and forth, and a lot of what you hear, and I hate to say this is not entirely true. In fact, people always ask me when I was in Congress, how do you get your information? I'm like, that's one of the biggest challenges I have, is that, and no offense to your former counsel, but I'll try to be even-handed here. If you only watch MSNBC, you're not going to get the entire truth, and if you only watch Fox, you're not going to get the entire truth. When it comes to being very difficult to try and find out what's happening in the middle. Here's what's happening in terms of the logistics on immigration, okay? There has been a policy change, yes, but the policy is not to separate children from their families. The policy has been zero tolerance on if you come into the border illegally, okay? If you put aside, if you cross at a border crossing and take amnesty, that's not the group of people we're talking about. If you cross the border between the ports of entry, which is illegal, our zero tolerance is now that we are going to charge you with that crime, okay? That is the policy change. After that, the law kicks in, and the law is that if you get detained and charged with a crime, you don't get to keep your kids around. So if I drive home drunk tonight and I get arrested and I get charged with that crime and they throw me in jail, they will not let my kids come and spend the night with me. That is the law, okay? So you watch one side of the argument, they say this is all about policy. You watch another side that says it's all about law. The actual fact matters. It's actually a combination.
Somewhere in the middle. I suspect there are a few people in this room who would like to know how you feel about it, which is to say, is something that appears to be or may in fact be humane still the right thing to do?
Humane or inhumane?
Inhumane.
Whether or not is it humane? It is what we do to American citizens. Again, if you
no, we as American citizens don't separate children from their family.
But we do, and that's my point. That's what we do. Do you have kids?
I do.
How old are they?
They're 18 and about 16.
Okay, so the 16 is still home. I have 3 18-year-olds, and they don't care if they're with me. They're gone, right? But your 16-year-old is still home, right? And if you get arrested tonight for shooting me, okay, we are going to detain you. We're going to put you in jail, and we are going to separate you from your child. That's the law. That's what we do. Your kids don't get to go with you to detention, to prison. And that's what we are doing on the border. You can say what you want to about the policy, which is the zero tolerance, which is different than the previous administration, but not on the execution of the law. So I refuse to accept the premise that somehow that's inhumane, when it's the exact same thing we do to our own citizens, and we do it for good reasons. We don't want those folks in prison.
Well, there are some distinctions to be drawn. If I end up shooting you, it's not going to happen. And I end up going to prison.
We're not done yet. It may be so. Someone tried to shoot me on the net.
My child, my 16-year-old, isn't going to be in something that looks like a cage.
What if she was 3, okay? And what if you were a single parent? Where would she go then?
You would know better than me.
And the answer is, I honestly don't know where they go. By the way, I've been to the detention centers. You should go. Go. I know maybe I don't know if your network has gone, but go. I've seen them. When you say it's cages, there is, what do they call it? Cyclone fencing. But it's air conditioned. Again, they have services. It sounds like we're keeping folks as zoo animals, and that's just not, that doesn't help a discussion of the issues. When you come in and say you're keeping people, human beings, in cages, okay? It's not factually accurate, and it doesn't help a debate on the underlying issues. So again, I reject the premise. I'm happy to talk about immigration, but I think it helps when we do it in language that doesn't automatically accuse the other person of being the devil, and that works both ways.